So somehow, this recent news of Labour discussing a US UK trade deal with Trump allies seems to have shocked a lot of people. But here's the thing: the reality is, this makes absolute perfect sense because roll around November, even though recently we did that whole video about, Trump's chances, the 10 things that, reasons why Trump is going to lose, the fact that the GOP in several key area states is bankrupt, in an absolute mess. His ground game in some states is just absolutely non-existent. Even though that is all the case, you have to prepare for a possibility Trump might win, because his chances are not zero. As much as we would love to say his chances are zero, they are not. And you should, regardless of where you stand politically, if you are about to be on the verge of taking government, even Jeremy Corbyn, if he was in the same state now, he would also be having to do this as well. This is just the political reality when you look at foreign and diplomatic affairs, that you can't just ignore America for the next 4 years if Trump gets into office. You have to accept that they are there. This is one of my main big criticisms I have had of conservatives whenever they talk about China. The whole idea that we can, just pretend China doesn't exist. You're like, no, you can't. you can't at all. This is also exactly the way that a lot of, especially American Republicans, sort of treat Iran, as if Iran just doesn't exist, as if it's not a thing, and they only sort of have to deal with it every so often when they decide to get it out of the toy box and maybe have a play with it or use it as some sort of, political T-shirt, etc., etc. So this is just a case of where it is. This is just uh, international politics, and it makes perfect sense. Even the conservatives, I would not be shocked, would also be having talks with Trump allies, in this similar situation as well, because you've got to prepare for a possibility. What if Trump wins? And I've talked about this before. Remember, I've talked about the possibility of what should David Lammy do, given the fact that you've had Trump make comments about wanting to leave NATO, not wanting to support a NATO country or NATO allies should they get attacked, or even continuing to support Ukraine. So there is, and I have said before, Lammy should have an idea, a plan. Well, this is what happens if Trump is going to get in. This is, how we're going to have to deal with things. We've got to have a plan in case that happens. And you are entering the possibility of a general election, maybe happening either before or after this potential race. So either way, you have to prepare for all these likelihoods when you are going to sort of go into the situation and deal with this, the possibility. And remember, it is always a possibility Trump might win. Now, yes, the odds, I would say, now have certainly decreased. I would not say it is now a 50-50 chance, but I would not put it below a 40, a 40-60% chance. I think Biden's got a lot of things going for him. I think Trump has a bigger hill to climb than he has had before. But you never know what could happen during a general election. There's a whole possibility, what if, I don't know, Biden has a heart attack and the Democrats have to put up another candidate, and what if that candidate isn't exactly sort of popular? Run the whole, Hillary Clinton, argument that, she wasn't sort of very popular, and it's why one of the reasons why she lost to Trump. All kinds of stuff could potentially happen that could maybe, end up with a Trump victory. Like it or not, You have to prepare. So we're going to have a look at close to this, one of the stuff, because, some of these organizations are really worrying, and the fact that, you have to talk with them because, they're going to be part of the government, especially the Heritage Foundation and the Resolution Foundation haven't kept quiet about what their plans are going to be, aka Project 2025. So, yeah. So we're going to have a look at this because this honestly does need a look at. Um, so speculation is now mounting that the Labour is now paving a way to open the US-UK trade talks with Donald Trump's administration if he wins back the White House as Keir Starmer enters Downing Street. The Independent has learned that now senior MPs, including the Shadow Immigration Minister Stephen Kinnock and Shadow Exports Minister Dan Dishi, are also guests of the right-wing Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C. this week. Now, here's the thing. Why are they going to this? Well, as we've said, Heritage Foundation going to be a key player. If Trump wins, the Heritage Foundation will be putting and stacking the White House all with its people. It's all in Project 2025. They've laid out the blueprint exactly of what they want to do once they gain power. So you cannot just ignore the Heritage Foundation just because they are, right wing. Because you have to prepare for the likelihood that Trump might win and these guys are going to be in power. As I said before, you can't just ignore America for like the next 4 years until they have another election. It's just not how you do international politics, unfortunately. You have to sort of deal with people as they are and find ways of working with them, or maybe even working again with other partners. And hey, if Trump says, hey, we can do a trade deal, and if Trump's dumb enough to offer the UK like a really, really good trade deal, like let's say he does one of his quote good deals and it's actually quite a good deal, why on earth would the UK not take advantage of that? you know Why not take advantage of the fact if Trump is going to be dumb enough to do quote the best trade deals? Why not take advantage of that? Yeah, it might not pass through the Ways and Means Committee, might not pass through Congress, etc. But hey, it's worth a roll of the dice. It's worth a roll of the dice to try and see if we can, pull one over on Trumpy. It's not a bad idea to try this. So this is also the other one. So the Heritage Foundation has also earned a reputation for being at the heart of the shift of the right of the Republican Party. It has led to Project 2025, the preparations for the next Republican administration in the White House, including policy documents and staffing. Hence, once again, you have to talk to the Heritage Foundation. You can't get around the fact that you've got to speak to them. You've got to talk to them. Like it or not, you know, as I said many times before, you've got to have a plan. Obviously, Trump's comments about leaving NATO, etc., maybe not supporting NATO allies, kind of worrying. But once again, you've got to have a plan. If you're going to go into government and you've got a potential leader, or heaven forbid, if he actually wins, what are we going to do if that's the case? So, you know, that's just the reality of the situation. You've got to have plans. You've got to plan for this stuff. Like it or not, you can't just ignore America for the next 4 years if Trump wins. You know, but as always, let me know what you think down below in the comments. And of course, as always, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button. And of course, as always, there is the Pony Club down below as well. So, as always, we'll see you all next time.